It was well past midnight when Ethan Cole unlocked the janitor's closet on the top floor of Raventech Industries. The offices were empty now, just the echo of footsteps, the hum of machines left running overnight, and the faint smell of burnt coffee from the executive lounge. He tied his worn apron, grabbed the mop, and whispered to himself, "Just 3 more hours, Ethan. Then you can sleep." His shift had started at 6. Before that, he'd spent the morning getting his 6-year-old daughter Lila ready for school. He'd kissed her on the forehead, packed her favorite peanut butter sandwich, and promised, "Someday, kiddo, I'll get a real job, one where I don't smell like bleach." But for now, cleaning was all he had. After his wife passed 2 years ago, bills had piled up like ghosts that refused to leave. And Raventech, the towering glass building that sparkled over the city, was both his workplace and his quiet humiliation. Because up there, behind those shiny offices, sat people who had everything he didn't: comfort, respect, power. And at the very top of that pyramid was Victoria Hale, the CEO, young, brilliant, and terrifyingly precise. Ethan had never spoken to her, but he'd heard stories. She was the kind of woman who didn't tolerate mistakes, not even a fingerprint on her glass desk. Droplet the spill. It happened so fast he didn't even process it. Ethan was mopping the executive floor when he noticed the light still on inside the CEO's office. He hesitated. The last thing he wanted was to invade her space. But the cleaning schedule required it. He couldn't skip that room again. He knocked softly. "Ugh. Mom? Ms. Hale. It's just the cleaner. You in there?" No answer. He peeked inside. The room was empty, papers stacked neatly, a laptop still glowing on the desk. "She must have left it on," he murmured, stepping in quietly. He began wiping the desk surface, careful not to touch anything personal. But as he reached for the corner, his elbow brushed. Crash. A cup of water, half full, tipped over, spilling straight across the desk. No, 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 Ethan lunged forward, grabbing tissues and trying to blot the water before it hit the keyboard. But it was too late. The laptop flickered, sparked, and went black. For a second, the world stopped breathing. He froze, heart pounding in his ears. "God, please no. Please don't let me just destroy my job." Fearful face the unexpected discovery. Ethan was on his knees panicking, trying to dry the laptop with the edge of his shirt, when he noticed the screen flicker back to life, faint, broken pixels forming an image. It wasn't a spreadsheet or an email draft. It was a photo. A little boy. Maybe 6, with soft curls and eyes that mirrored sadness and wonder all at once. He was sitting in a hospital bed, holding a toy car. And on the bottom corner of the screen was a sticky note. "Don't give up. For Noah." Ethan blinked. His throat tightened. The CEO, the cold, unreachable woman everyone feared, had a sick son. And in that moment, something inside him shifted. He whispered to the empty office, "You're fighting your battles too, huh? Candle the confrontation. Who gave you permission to touch that?" Ethan spun around. Standing in the doorway was Victoria Hale, her sharp heels clicking against the floor, eyes blazing. I didn't mean to. I was cleaning, and the cup." She stormed toward the desk, inspecting the laptop. "You what?" "I tried to wipe it. It just spilled over, I swear." Her jaw clenched. "Do you have any idea what's on this computer? Confidential files, projects." "I'm sorry," he cut in, voice trembling. "Please. I'll pay for it. I'll work extra shifts. I didn't mean to." She looked ready to call security. Then her eyes flicked to the flickering screen. Her son's face glowed faintly in the reflection. And her anger faltered. She blinked, throat tightening for just a second before she turned away. "Get out," she whispered. "Before I change my mind." Ethan nodded quickly, his hands shaking. "Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Truly." He backed out of the office, heart pounding. But as the door closed behind him, she sat down and stared at the wet screen, her trembling fingers tracing the note at the corner. "Don't give up. For Noah." Crescent moon that night. Ethan couldn't sleep. The image of that boy haunted him, not because of the accident, but because he knew that kind of pain. The quiet desperation of watching someone you love fight battles you can't control. He'd been there with his late wife. Hospital corridors. Long nights. Empty promises. He understood. And somehow, knowing that she, the woman everyone called heartless, carried that kind of sorrow, it changed how he saw her. He didn't see a CEO anymore. He saw a mother. Dove the morning after. He showed up early the next morning, guilt weighing heavy on his shoulders. He half expected security guards to be waiting with a termination notice. Instead, he found a note taped to his locker. It wasn't from HR. It was from her. Meet me in my office at 9. Ifauha. Ethan swallowed hard. His stomach turned. He couldn't lose this job. Lila's school fees depended on it. At exactly 9 a.m., he stood at her door again, cap in hand, trying not to shake. Come in, she said without looking up. He stepped inside quietly. I wanted to apologize again, he said. If you need me to cover the damages, I'll. She raised a hand to stop him. It's fine. He blinked. I don't understand. She finally looked up, her eyes softer this time. You saw it, didn't you? The picture. Ethan hesitated. Yes, ma'am. But I didn't mean to. It's okay. Her voice cracked just slightly. You probably think I'm cold. Everyone does. He shook his head. I think you're doing your best. And for the first time, Victoria Hale, the woman who ruled entire boardrooms with her gaze, looked like she might cry. The rain had stopped, but the silence between them lingered like fog. Ethan stood awkwardly by the counter, a rag still in his hand, while Victoria, the CEO, sat in her soaked designer suit, staring at the laptop he had accidentally drenched just hours ago. The one that revealed a secret she had spent years hiding. The screensaver still lingered in his mind, an image of a hospital bed, a little boy with an oxygen tube, smiling weakly while holding a drawing that said, "For Mom." Victoria had panicked when the photo appeared. Not because it was damaged, but because it wasn't meant to be seen. Not by anyone, especially not by a janitor. Now, as the hum of the cleaning machines filled the lobby, she finally broke the silence. You saw it, didn't you? Her voice was low, almost a whisper. Ethan hesitated, unsure if admitting it would make things worse. I didn't mean to. The laptop just turned on when I wiped it down. I swear I wasn't. She cut him off gently, not angry, just tired. It's fine.
Igezers no point protending ni mort.
He set the rag aside and looked at her, sensing the wall she'd built for years starting to crumble. That was your son, he said quietly. Victoria nodded, her eyes glassy. His name was Leo. She hadn't said his name out loud in so long, it felt foreign on her tongue. He was 5 when I lost him. Cancer. She drew in a shaky breath. I threw myself into work after that. I thought if I built something big enough, made enough money, I'd fill that hole somehow. Ethan didn't say anything. He just listened, the kind of listening that didn't need words. He knew grief too. Different, but familiar. My wife, he finally said. She passed away giving birth to our daughter. I've been raising her alone ever since. Victoria turned her gaze to him, really seeing him for the first time. The man in the cleaning uniform wasn't just a janitor. He was a father, just like she had been a mother. Both haunted by loss, both clinging. Ethan chuckled. Some days I'm not so sure. Cleaning floors at night, trying to make enough for her school fees. It's not easy. But she's my reason for everything. A long pause hung between them, 2 souls, different worlds apart, yet somehow standing on the same ground. Then, unexpectedly, Victoria asked, Do you still visit your wife's grave? Ethan shook his head. No. Lily doesn't like cemeteries. So we plant flowers in the park instead. She says her mom can see them from heaven. That hit Victoria like a whisper from Leo himself. She hadn't visited his resting place in years. Too afraid of reopening wounds that never truly healed. Her eyes glistened as she looked away. You're lucky, she murmured. You still have something to fight for. Ethan looked at her with gentle conviction. Maybe you do too. You just forgot where to look. Those words sat with her long after he finished his shift. Over the next few nights, their brief exchanges became something more. She'd find reasons to stay late, claiming she had work to finish, but in truth, she was drawn to the quiet comfort Ethan brought. He never treated her like the CEO, never feared her status. He spoke to her like a human being, and that was something she hadn't felt in years. One evening, she brought 2 coffees instead of 1. "For you," she said shyly. "I figured cleaning all night must get exhausting." Ethan blinked in surprise. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," she interrupted, a small genuine smile forming. They sat on the marble stairs of the empty lobby, sipping coffee from paper cups. It felt absurd, a millionaire CEO and a janitor, but somehow it made sense.